Hey y'all, welcome to the Medicinal Melange podcast. I'm Elizabeth, a clinical herbalist, medical astrologer, and the friend that won't let you gaslight yourself out of your own brilliance. This is where we take the guesswork out of your wellness journey and take back your autonomy in healing your body, aligning with your chart, and shedding light on your highest self's actual timeline, not the one capitalism tries to rush you through. If you're into no BS astrology, radical self honesty, and levels of devotion to yourself you were told were too much, you're in the right place. Okay, so you want to know what's like funny, not funny? The universe really loves to mess with timing. I'm sure we've all been there. But I sat down to write and record this episode today on visibility. Right at the exact moment I felt the least visible on social media in years, in my life recently. And at the exact moment I feel incredibly vulnerable and honestly not even wanting to be visible. Like, I'm not exaggerating. A few months ago, let's say on social media, okay? A few months ago, I was pulling like 1,500 views on Reels, which isn't like, I don't know what other people do. I'm just saying for me, my little modest social media, experience and persona, I'm very happy with that. Anybody, even if a one person sees it, right? If that one person feels called to connect with me and work with me, like, that's the whole point of me being on social media, is to help people learn that there are more ancient ways. We have a very modern world. Here are more ancient ways that we can work on this stuff. So right now, for the last, like, let's say month, I have like 200 views. And that's if the algorithm is in a generous mood. And honestly, it hasn't been. So I didn't catch myself like spiraling, but it's the only word I can think of. We're not like crashing out, but we're really fucking annoyed about it. And I was talking to my friend about it because she definitely has a much larger presence. However, same thing with hers. And like, what's going on? Why is this here? But as someone who's definitely repulsed by social media 90% of the time, I also don't have a physical shop. So to be seen by my clients and potential wholesale retailers, I got to be seen online. I have to be visible. Period, point blank. So there I was this past week thinking, why am I even talking about visibility when no one's seeing my shit right now? And I really just got hit with some heavy personal news, and all I want to do, or at least at the time, was shrink away in my office and not be perceived at all. Like, don't look at me. But then I ran my lunar chart. And first of all, I ran my lunar chart for the family member who this big news happened to, that greatly affected me, but is not directly me. Turns out, had I looked at their chart, their lunar return chart, which is the return chart, is what I run for members of the moon membership. So it's basically like, I was like, hey, let me do the moon membership for you for free this month and see what's going on. And it was totally like, hey, this is going to happen on this date. And I could have fucking known ahead of time. It was a bummer because I totally could have seen this happening. But all I wanted to do, like I said, was shrink away, go to my office, work harder. But when I looked at my lunar return chart and my business's lunar return chart, that's exactly when everything kind of connected. Visibility as a brand strategy is one thing, but visibility as far as a spiritual, personal practice, that's a different kind of initiation. Visibility as a spiritual practice is still speaking, still podcasting, still whatever, speaking when life gets quiet around you, when everything inside of you, or in this case, me, says, absolutely, let's hide. I don't want to deal with this. We did have a layoff in my family this week. It's been all hands on deck. With my moon in Capricorn, I am the one who does not fall apart. I go dark, I hustle hard, I fix, I hold, I support. But when I think about visibility as a spiritual practice, it's also about showing up in how I care for myself, even when nobody's watching. So, for instance, this layoff happened. I just happened to be running a sale. Great. Did I hit my goals this week with the sale? No, I did not. Not even kind of close. And I immediately felt this old desire to punish myself, to push harder, to, even as I think about it, it just fucking wrecks me because I'm like, oh, what are the words that I need to say? Because I always feel like it's a word thing, and I'll explain that in a minute too. But I feel like I need to push harder, that, maybe I'm not showing up enough. Maybe I should just disappear. Because my Chiron, my deepest wound in my chart, sits right on top of my midheaven, my most visible self. So when I didn't hit that goal this week, the self-hate spiral / crash out that flared up, I did want to hide. I wanted to just go, oh my God, everyone hates me, go away. But of course, my lunar return chart this month said I'd be tested around self-worth and trust and redefining what enough even means for myself, for my family. And that makes sense. With Leo ruling my 12th house natally, I kind of live in this duality of like, look at me, don't look at me. Look at me, don't look at me. I always think of Mad TV, that sketch when it's like, look at me, stop looking at me. Was it Mad TV? I don't know. Somebody please correct me, because as you'll hear in 1 second, I love to be wrong in public. But yeah, so this Leo 12th house, lately, life has been very loud behind the scenes. So that means like budget realigning on a massive scale loud. So family responsibility loud, adjusting even my daughter's school plans. I was saving up so she could go to cosmetology school and start this past weekend, this past Sunday. And I was like, hey, gotta push it back now, where I feel like I'm letting people down because I had goals and now everything's kind of different. And that quiet, like, shit, everything is changing. And am I creating a grounding presence in my children's life? And how do I do this? Like, that kind of loud. It's wild to feel that internal pressure at the top, like a pressure cooker, at the exact moment. Externally, my visibility more or less goes completely dark and silent. But that's when I understood none of this is punishment. This is the initiation into our next chapter together. Me and you listening on the other side. Because visibility isn't about views. At the end of the day, do not make this podcast to have 1 million views. Although, universe, if you would like to go ahead and send people my way, I would love people to listen to my podcast. But the reason why I make it, and the reason why I would love to have 1 million listens or views or whatever platform it's on, is because I know what I'm teaching and what I talk about not only is fucking relevant to you, but it's so healing, and it could be implemented into your life with ease and have such massive changes for the better in your life. And that's why I make this podcast. I give 2 shits about going viral. I give 2 shits about hiring a robot to write my sales pitches. I'm sure I could fucking sell much more if I trusted AI, but I don't. I hate that the robots decide what content deserves reach. I'm on TikTok at night. That is the only time I'm on TikTok. It's about 15 minutes before I fall asleep. I get to hear personal stories, which I absolutely love, which is probably why I was called to podcast, because I love podcasting. I love hearing people's stories. I want to learn. I am that nosy bitch that wants every detail. And I'm interrupting your story because I'm like, but wait, how was her face? Was it like this or was it like that? And so when a robot decides who should see these stories, these healing techniques, my sale, it really fucking drives me mad. But I have to remember that visibility is about alignment. It's this mirror. Despite what the favorite business strategist online with 1 million views might have to say, visibility, in my opinion, is spiritual work. It will show you every single place where your voice tenses up, where you still hesitate, where you still want to be good enough. That's why I started doing my $1 million a day Venus rewiring. I've shared 1 or 2 days on Instagram. I wasn't sure if I was going to do every day or not every day. And sometimes my videos save and sometimes it doesn't, because honestly, I'm doing all this during Mercury retrograde like a Delulu bird. But I'm trying to rewire my Venus, not because I think, a big old fucking check's gonna fall from the sky, but because I need to kind of rehearse a version of myself who's allowed to receive more. My brain doesn't know the difference between memory and what's actually happening and an imaginative scene. Okay. And that goes for everyone's brain. If somebody screams bear, even though you can't see it, it's like, did I imagine that bear or is there really a bear? And it really doesn't matter. Your body takes it as you are about to be eaten by a bear no matter what. So, because my brain doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imaginative, I'm rehearsing. That's why I'm doing this $1 million a day. I'm rehearsing because, of course, Mercury is retrograding through my 3rd house of communication right now, because astrology loves the drama. The 3rd house is where you can find in your chart real-time truth. It's like that unscripted voice. It's how you speak when life is lifing. When the astrology is astrologizing, how do you show up? How do you speak? My 3rd house is ruled by Scorpio. It doesn't let anyone, and this goes for anyone's Scorpio placement, it doesn't let you half say things. Scorpio doesn't let you pretend. Scorpio lets you share, but it's not going to be the softened, brand safe version of my truth, right? Mercury retrograding in this 3rd house of Scorpio for me is the universe telling me, say the real thing. Not the pretty thing, not the polished thing. Say the real thing. Because visibility will always, always ask if you can let yourself be seen in a version of you that you don't fully understand yet. When my daughter got sick, it took me years to even be able to talk about it as freely as if we've met in person, or, me even talking about it on the podcast. Like, I talk about that pretty freely now. When shit hits the fan, I actually don't talk. I don't talk. I shut down. I do the Scorpio thing. Wherever Scorpio is in your chart, that is where you easily shut down. I feel like I have a lump in my throat. Like, that's how it physically feels. Like, I physically cannot talk in those moments. And so when we had a layoff this week, I want to be like, fuck. Hey guys, $40, fuck Amazon. They don't need your $40. Like, but I would love it. I would love to offer you the receiving frequency plus 2 free classes. I would love to offer you this beautiful healing tea Rhesus, which actually restores your ability to talk and say the hard thing, which actually, after I record this, I'm totally going to brew a batch. Visibility is asking me, am I going to allow, not am I going to, but am I going to allow myself to be seen in this version I don't understand yet? And that's where I look at my chart. That's where the chart comes in. And we start with the first house. This is your like face in astrology. We'll call it, I mean, if the stupid robot was writing it, I'm sure it'd be like, this is your cosmic face or some bullshit. But it is the energetic imprint that you specifically bring into every room, even before you say a word. It's that aura that you carry with you, your internal spiritual visibility practice is this. Can you let yourself be seen in the energy of your first house fully? Because your first house is begging you to embody whatever that energy represents full time. And that's where most people get stuck. They think that visibility is about being seen only. They think they're too busy to post on social media, but they're not too busy. They're terrified of being seen in their real energy. I am never too busy to post on social media. You know what I am, though? I am looking too fucking raggedy. My hair is a mess. Maybe my lighting is not right. And I've read enough articles that says that the algorithm pushes your stuff if you have nice, lighting. Or I want to use my front facing camera more often. It's never about, why aren't you posting on social? Oh, I just don't have time. No, you don't want to be seen in any other light that other than curated. It's the real energy that you don't want to be seen and visible. Aries rising is scared to be bold, but like too bold. I don't want to do something too much. A Cancer rising is scared to be too emotional and seen that way. Oh, that's just a crybaby bitch. Scorpio rising is scared of being too much, to be seen too much as well. That's a big one. Scorpio rising, I always joke that if I read for you and you're a Scorpio rising, you'd probably not even tell me that I nailed it, because you're like, fuck you, I'm not giving you that satisfaction. A Libra rising is scared to be disliked. They want people to enjoy them. A Capricorn rising doesn't want to fail publicly. Virgo rising, hi, that's me, is scared to be wrong in public. Visibility wounds are first house wounds through and through, period, point blank. And Mercury retrograding by transit, meaning not the one I'm born with, but the one that's happening right this second, is in my third house, Scorpio. This is where the retrograde is landing. That's the voice that either amplifies my identity or shrinks it really fucking low. That's the tension I'm sitting in right now. And I have been sitting in since I've been writing this. First house is telling me like, woo, be who you are. Like, who fucking cares? Just show up. And I do know that in my heart of hearts, I know if I just show up, that's all that matters. My presence is all that is required of me, not what I do. It actually took a lot of therapy. I don't think it was until after I found out about my ex's affairs, plural, that I had a therapist that told me that I am valuable even if I'm not doing things for other people. It was a very long time, but by now I have healed and I have learned that absolutely being who I am, my presence is the beautiful thing that I bring to the table. Now, the third house is communication. So that's telling me, hey, you need to say who the fuck you are. If you've met me, you know that me talking about myself, I will be like, yeah, I'm a damn good herbalist because I know I am, right? But sometimes when people compliment me, you will see me physically almost like bow down and like put my hand on my chest and like shuffle backwards. Like, have you ever seen those like period pieces where they're trying to walk out of the royalty's presence, so they like shuffle backwards? That's almost how I feel like I'm doing. I'm trying to literally lower my posture and myself after I'm given a compliment and shuffle out. The third house is like, say who you are. And then the retrograde there is like, say it slower, say it more honestly. If visibility for you feels hard right now, like it is for me, that's because it is. It's personal. And when my own visibility glitches, I now understand through doing all of this analysis and deep inner thinking and reflection for this episode, I know that I didn't do anything wrong. I'm just showing up in a version of me that's still trying to form. It's still thinking, it's still downloading. Honestly, that's why I created the Moon membership last year. Not for the people who have their shit figured out. I created it for people like me in those moments, those who feel like the ground is shifting beneath their feet and still want to stay anchored in their truth. We use astrology and somatic rewiring tools to stay steady enough through these transitions because the visibility and receiving are twins. If you hide, you can't receive. And I know that I'm not here to hide. I used to be that person. I used to try to flow so deeply into the wall that I just am like a perma wallflower. But I'm not here to hide. That's why I'm doing my $1,000,000 a day practice. Not because I'm chasing this fucking outcome of $1,000,000 a day. Again, unless the universe, you would like to give me that, totally down. But I'm doing it right now here in this present moment because I'm building the capacity to stay visible even when my life is really fucking loud, even when I want to disappear, even when no one signs up, even when it feels like I'm talking into a void. Because this isn't a marketing campaign. This is an exercise and really like a devotion to and for and with this relationship I have with my future self. This is, in my opinion, spiritual visibility. So if you're listening to this and you are in that quiet place between who you were and who you're becoming, I just want to be as clear as possible that you don't have to be stable to be visible. You just have to be honest, right? Your first house identity is still your identity, even when it's shaky. Your third house voice is still your voice, even when it's soft. This is the work that's going to keep you aligned when everything around you and in you wants to go quiet. And this is what I'm living right now. This is also what I teach. I want to kind of have you all sit with that for a little bit. I know we are about to enter into some people's holiday festivities, whether you're meeting with coworkers or hopefully you listened to this before you went to Thanksgiving dinner if you celebrate it. But just know that the Moon membership is here, the Sun membership is here. It is to hold your voice and to help you hold your voice in a sustainable way with a devotion to your future self as well, instead of all this pressure that the current environment is giving. Every week, I pull a card, right? I end the series with a card or the episode with a card. And I'm always like, where am I intuitively called to pull? It's very interesting because I almost never pull in public from tarot decks, because tarot, though, is a skill that I love and know like the back of my hand, it's very scary for me to be visible in that way doing tarot, because I'm like, what if I say it wrong? What if my friend who's been doing it for like 30 years professionally tells me that I interpreted that card wrong? Then what? And so I think it's very interesting because of this episode, because there I was, like, maybe pulled to this deck. Let's get an oracle deck instead because I didn't want to be wrong. Visibility. So today's oracle cards that I'm using is the Green Witch. The Green Witch. I do like the artwork. I do love the guidebook. Ooh, US Games Systems is who it's through, which is rare because I don't always have a lot of those. I'm looking at the apple, which is damn near one of the last cards, and it says, a sacred pagan fruit, the apple hides a secret. If you cut it horizontally, a star appears in the center, made up of the seeds. The 5 seeds symbolize the 5 elements, the 4 elements of nature, plus that of intuition, or the spirit. If you pick this card, it is time to unite opposing complementary forces and find a magical equilibrium in the everyday. I think it's a nice way to think about visibility, but actually, I would love to hear your intuitive input on what you think this is. What is the takeaway that you have with this card pull for today? I know I always give it, but I would love to know what you think this week. Let me think. This Sunday, I will be at Deja Vu Esoterica from 11 to 3. If you come this weekend and pre-book via my website, themedicinalmelange.com, I am offering a free money spell kit. It doesn't have to be used like a spell, but there is a chime candle, there is money oil, and let me tell you, that bitch hits every time. So if you've never worked with my money oil, this is a very easy way to experience it. Plus, you get an awesome reading. We can do a natal chart reading, or if this episode specifically called to you, pre-book and I can run your lunar chart as well. I have a holiday gift set available, and I have mystery boxes available as well if you're looking for gifts under 40. These are really good options for the gifts. Sorry, I'm stumbling with my words. Look, Mercury retrograde is almost over, so I'm just counting down the minutes. But yeah, my point is I would love to have your business instead of spending it at big box stores. Know that I am always a click away or a message away if you want to curate something fun for your specific family or friend that you are buying a gift for. But yeah, I would love to have your business and I would appreciate it. And I assure you that it will go a long way in my family compared to Jeff Bezos's. So with that said, I hope you have a fabulous week, whether it be with family and friends for the holiday or just doing something chill. I personally will be donating my time to Meals on Wheels on Thursday. So I hope you have a great week. Happy end of Mercury retrograde, although we're still in a shadow period, and I will see y'all next week.